Hey everybody, it's Second Chance Adventures. Today's day number 249 after having gastric bypass surgery. So another question came up. Somebody had asked me on Twitter, what is the biggest thing that you feel that you've lost or something that you never got to have because of all the years of having a weight issue and being bullied and everything like that all your life? Well, for a vast majority of my life. So here's the biggest thing. I would say that it is the biggest loss, but it's actually the biggest gain I've ever had. I know it's going to sound really weird, but I'm going to explain it to you. Well, as I've said several times in my videos, we live in a world where people want to be around you, people want to be with you, whether you have something that they want that they can get, or by the way you look, or how much money you have, or how popular you are, or whatever. People nowadays don't tend to want to know you and be your friend because of good things about yourself, like how smart you are, or because you're considered a good girl or good boy. A lot of times people don't want to be your friend basically because of you being what's the norm now of being just a good person in general and not fighting and drinking, going to parties, ruining relationships, not being the bad bitch or the whatever you want to call it. And it's really, really sad. Now, to answer that question, yeah, as you grow up in school and wherever you're at and you're overweight or you have something wrong with you, you're targeted. You really are. And because of that, I grew up all through school, all the way till the ninth grade. And I had no friends, and everywhere I went, I was bullied, whether it was at school, it was at church, wherever it might be. And my rice cooker just went off. I just heard it pop. Sorry, I got distracted. Wherever I went, I was always targeted, and I never had anybody on my side, as in like school or in outer places. So because of that, I had no friends, I had no backup, I was always cornered on my own. That's just how it was. I was never ever invited to anything. I was never asked to go anywhere. I was never a part of anything until I got to the ninth grade. Whenever there was a school dance, like, or any kind of school function, nobody ever asked me to go, hey, you want to go with us? Or, hey, come with us. Or, hey, aren't you going? We're going to be there. Let's go. Never. Anything that had to do with anything, I never got invited, and if it ever was, it was by a teacher, which, I'm not dogging on them either, and I appreciate any kind of efforts they ever made, but nobody wants to go to a school function with a teacher. Of course, when you're young like that, that's what you think. At least now I'd go. But anyways, because of that, I had no social life. I had never had any friends. I never got to do anything fun with, other people my age growing up. I was never asked to be a part of anything. I was never anybody's choice at all, unless I was just the choice to be targeted and be bullied. People put their hands on me. There were times where people would get physical with me and, all kinds of things. And I've talked about this a few times in a few videos. So yeah, probably the biggest loss and the biggest win I got was the fact that I never had a social life and I never had friends, and people were always really mean to me all the time, and I knew that as soon as I stepped foot in that door at school, I wasn't even getting in the door. It would even be before I got in the door and people would start messing with me all the time in elementary school and middle school. Middle school was the worst. 7th grade was the worst year. Oh, 7th was the worst. I hated it with a passion. But I just knew as soon as I got on property, the red target dot was on my forehead, and I just knew I was in for it every single day at school. Now, I say that was the biggest loss because, bullying and never having any friends and never being anybody's pick for anything or never wanting to be a part of anything that has to do with me at all. That is also my biggest win because when I look back, like a lot of people I went to school with, not just the ones that used to taunt me a lot or make my life a living hell, but even the ones that like never did and just never even knew I existed, it seems like a huge percentage of them and a lot of people, just my generation, the next generation, it just seems like a lot of them are just worse off than I am now, and I hate to say that, but as I look back, I think, I look and I learn about people's history and what they've done with their lives. And I think, wow, I really dodged a bullet. And just to think I spent a lot of years crying and being in my room thinking what's wrong with me just because I'm fat. What else could it be? You know, why do people hate me? Why are people always mean to me? Why are people always trying to beat me up? Why are people always harassing me and sexually harassing me? Why are people always making my life hell wherever I go? Um, and I would just think about it now, and I think I really dodged a bullet, because a lot of them have been in jail. A lot of them's been married at least a couple times. I know somebody from high school that's on their third marriage, and we're only 30 years old. It's crazy. You know, there's a lot of people that I know from high school that's had their kids taken from them. There's people that's on been or on parole. There's even some that's dead. There I know a lot of people from high school that are dead. It's crazy, you know. There's a lot of people that, you know, I know that really just threw their life in the garbage because they didn't want to, you know, do the right thing and graduate high school and, you know, don't use drugs and stay out of trouble and just go to work and be a normal person, you know. And as an adult, I think, and I used to cry and be upset because I could never be a part of anything with anybody at school. And I just think, you know, I dodged a big one, because if I was a part of it, who knows what my life could have been. I might have hung out too much and got influenced the wrong way. Who knows? You know, I'm not perfect. You know, it could have been a possibility. So maybe it was for the good after all, anyways. It's crazy how I think of it. But I'm a kind of person that I would rather be alone my entire life, you know, knowing that, you know, I'm not going to be targeted, knowing I'm going to be fine, versus trying and risking and trying my energy, my oxygen, my time, trying to make friends with people that are just going to lead me down the wrong path and lead me astray. I would honestly rather be alone, knowing that I'm doing the right thing, I'm staying out of trouble, and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do as an adult. I wish I could go back in time to my younger self, back in the young days, and just pick myself up, wipe my face off, and say, look, it sucks now. I really know that, you know, I'm you from the future, but it's going to be okay. There's going to be a time where it's going to get a lot better for you. You just got to get through the rough patches for now, and it's going to take a long time. It's talking years. But one of these days, you're going to be all right. It's going to be okay. You know, then I magically disappear. Yeah. Hollywood stuff, right? But anyways, that would answer that question for the person that messaged me on Twitter. What is the biggest thing I felt like I lost, or something I didn't get to have while having a weight problem? And it would be the fact that I had no social life, I had no friends, and I was bullied all the time. But it's my greatest gain also, because there's a lot that I also dodged at the same time, and stuff that I didn't get involved in or possibly get involved in. So that's my question. I mean, that's my answer for you. I hope this answers your question. And if you want to talk about it some more, if you have something related to it, send me another message and we'll talk about it. All right, see you guys in the next video, and have a good day.